What the actual hell is going on with the DJI Osmo Pocket 3? Now, about 7 or 8 months ago, I made a video talking about how this camera was impossible to get in the UK and how it had sold out pretty much everywhere. And no matter where you tried to buy it, you had to go on a waiting list for about 2 or 3 months before you even could get hold of one. And I still get comments today saying that it's impossible to get, especially in the US. Apparently in the US now, if you want to buy the creator combo of the Osmo Pocket 3, then you have now got to spend around $1,000 for the Osmo Pocket 3 and the creator combo. And that's from registered retailers. That's not scalpers. That is registered retailers that are charging nearly $1,000 for this now because they've upped the price. Even DJI themselves have upped the price, and apparently you still have to sit on a wait list to get hold of it. Now in the UK, at the time of making this video at least, it's still the same price. It's still £619 for the creator combo, but you still have to wait for it. If you try and buy the creator combo, you have to wait like 2 or 3 months to get hold of one. And I've looked around before making this video, and no matter where you go, you still have to wait for it. So why, nearly almost a year and a half, 2 years later, why is this camera very hard to get hold of, and why have DJI upped the price? Well, that's what I want to talk about today. So this camera was released in the market where there was either mobile phones, either you're going to use an iPhone 16 Pro or an equally good flagship phone to record your footage with like a microphone or something, or you're going to use a professional mirrorless camera like this one. And then there was sort of action cameras and other cameras in between, but this camera then come along with its 1-inch CMOS sensor, active track, a built-in gimbal, a flip OLED screen so you can see yourself while you're recording, and a whole host of other features like spin shot and time lapse. You can record in full 4K up to 120 frames per second with no crop. You can record in 10-bit color, in D-Log-M if you want to do color grading. It has a whole host of features, and with the creator combo you also get the microphone as well and some other bits, different lenses, ND filters, whatever you want to use. And this thing has become the go-to camera now for content creators, vloggers, YouTubers, even working professionals who want to use it as a B-roll camera have started to use this instead of a gimbal, a big massive gimbal, and then putting their camera on a gimbal, because it's just so much easier to use and the quality is almost as good. So this camera come in perfectly in the market, slide right in the middle between phones and professional cameras, and then it come in at such a competitive price that nobody could get hold of one. Everyone just flooded the market to buy one and desperate to get it in their camera bag, and everyone raved about it on the internet. Everyone, whether they were sponsored or not, spoke about how good this camera was and how it was definitely worth the hype. And having had this camera for well over a year, and I've used it in family trips, I've used it for YouTube videos, talking head videos, used it as a webcam, I've used it almost as an action camera when I'm out on holiday, vlogging, pretty much anything you can think of I've used this camera for, and it is flawless. It is sensational. Now, is the quality as good as a professional mirrorless camera? If you put it side by side with something like an FX3 or an A7 IV with a G Master lens with a 1.4 aperture, obviously you're going to be able to tell the difference. If you put them side by side, the camera's obviously going to be better. But this, for 90% of people, is just so good. And DJI was so competitive with their pricing that everyone just bought it. It was a no-brainer offer for people. And now, a year later, it's still selling like hotcakes. They've had the difficult decision to be like, well, we can up the price of this and people are still going to buy it. And they're not wrong, because in America now, you will pay nearly $1,000 for this, as I've mentioned. And that's from reputable retailers. That's not people scalping it. That's from normal retailers. And people are still buying it. In the UK, thankfully, at the time of making this video, you can still get hold of one for £619 with the creator combo. You still have to wait about a month or two for it, though. You can't just get it next day delivery. There's still a long waiting list for it, but you can at least get hold of one at the original price. Whereas in the US, and I believe Canada as well, and probably other places, it's gone up to like nearly $1,000 for the creator combo. So you need to let me know in the comments below, are you having this issue with the DJI Pocket 3? What is the price of it where you are now? Can you actually get hold of one? Or you might be lucky, you might be able to go online, do a quick search while you're watching this video, and you might find one that's available for next day delivery for £619 or euros or dollars or whatever, and you can get it next day delivery. That might be great. But from what I'm seeing across the board, the overarching sort of idea is that you cannot get hold of one. It's impossible, and it's sold out everywhere. Even a year later, this camera is so good that it is just selling out like hotcakes. Now, if you are in the market for an Osmo Pocket 3 and you want to get one, then I would highly recommend you do it. It is so good. I've made a bunch of videos about it. I've got a whole playlist dedicated to the Osmo Pocket 3 where I've got an unboxing, I've got a setup guide, I've got a color grading guide, I've got different videos where I talk about the feature sets and talk about it in different scenarios. I'd recommend watching that whole playlist, which I'll leave up at the end of this video for you to watch through the whole thing at your leisure. But it is such a good camera, and the reason why is because even mirrorless cameras now, the really good ones, you're spending thousands and thousands of dollars to get a camera that can shoot in 4K, but even they can't do 120, which is super slow motion, unless you get the FX3, which is like nearly $4,000 camera. This is £600 or $700 or whatever it is. Even in America, it's now $800 to $1,000. It's still cheaper than an FX3, and it's still much better, much more convenient. You can fit it in your pocket. You haven't got to worry about putting lenses on it. You can just carry it with you everywhere you go. Just be careful with the durability of it, because it's not that durable. It's not an action camera. But other than that, other than the waterproofing and the durability, this camera is honestly flawless. And that's coming from an unbiased review, someone who's bought it with their own money, had it for a year, been using it for a year. So I'd highly recommend you get it. But if you want to know how to use it, watch the playlist and you can see the whole thing from unboxing all the way through to different reviews and tests of it.